Farmers, foresters, and commercial fishermen have been stewards of the land and waters for generations. Here in the Northeast, producers are taking steps to make their businesses more resilient and protect the environment by adopting climate-smart practices and conservation measures. While some of these practices are totally new, others are modern improvements to tried and true techniques. Anaerobic digesters have been used on dairy farms for decades as a means of recycling waste. But now, Vanguard Renewables is using this long-standing technology in a new way, combining farm waste with food waste.
We're able to take the manure from the farm, add the food waste to it, create this fantastic renewable gas, then be able to take what's left. Once we remove the gas, we've got this amazing organic fertilizer that we're able to give back to the farm. All those nutrients that were extracted to create all of those crops that feed the cows, that create our food, that goes back to the soil.
Vanguard receives waste from companies ranging from supermarkets to large commercial food and beverage producers. Packaged foods are depackaged at Vanguard's Massachusetts Organics Recycling Facility before being trucked to the digester. It adds up to big savings for food processors by avoiding landfill tipping charges. And some states are looking to keep food waste out of landfills altogether.
We offer them long-term fixed contracts, usually at 20 to 30% discount from the landfill disposal options. In addition to that, going to landfill or going to incinerator creates really nasty greenhouse gases. We sequester all those greenhouse gases.
Another key difference with Vanguard's model is on-site third-party management. The farmer partners with Vanguard to host the facility and, of course, provides the animal waste. Vanguard provides full-time managers who take care of food waste deliveries, equipment maintenance, and constant analysis of complex chemical processes. Farmers who work with Vanguard get all the free fertilizer they can use and other benefits.
We also take the solid material that comes out of that and give that back to them as bedding material for the animals. And then we've got waste heat that shows up as part of the byproduct from our generators. We give that back to the farm, and we can heat the milking parlors, the farm buildings, and in fact on this farm we're going to actually build a greenhouse where 100% of the heat is coming from waste heat that we've recovered and salvaged from the system.
Depending on the type of operation, it may take a combination of practices to make a positive environmental impact, especially in sensitive ecological areas. Joe Darlington is a fifth-generation fruit grower in the Garden State's Pine Barrens region.
We have a phenomenal history, and we are trying to hold up to the standards of those who came before. My great-grandfather had the biggest cranberry farm in the industry at the time. My aunt developed the blueberry industry. We're trying to sell the highest quality, highest grade products that we can so we can stay in business.
The Pine Barrens is a 1.1 million acre area across 7 counties in South Jersey. Water flowing through here recharges the Kirkwood-Cohansey Aquifer, so agricultural activity is highly regulated. The Darlingtons have made water management a priority for the sake of the environment and the bottom line.
We try and be as efficient as we can with it. We build level bogs now. We use high efficiency irrigation pumps. We have efficient low lift pumps which allow us to capture our tailwater and pump it back up to be our headwater so we can recycle the same water over again. We don't use water, we divert water.
Berry growers have a history of working with, not against, native plants and animals. Recently, the Audubon Society asked the Darlingtons to help them reestablish quail populations on their farm.
We have done some controlled burning of some woods. We have stopped mowing the surrounding high ground. Audubon came in and helped us plant a variety of wild flowers, some to be feed source and shelter source for quail, some to be alternative pollinators for our cranberry crop. We have to bring in a huge number of honeybees to pollinate our crop. There are a lot of local pollinators, but it's hard to expand their population to anything like what we need. So we're trying to feed them in the non-cranberry season so that we can expand their population.
Some climate-smart practices are instilled through individual initiatives, but others encompass collective action. 90% of the state of Maine is covered by trees, and the foresters who depend on them are keenly aware of their importance.
60% of the emissions from petroleum products in Maine are offset by the carbon we sequester in our forests. So that's a pretty tall number, and it's something that's unique to Maine. But then when you add in the durable forest products that we produce that sink carbon, we add another 15% to our numbers.
The Maine Forest Products Council works with landowners and forestry operations to protect the state's land and water.
So we use best management practices when looking at operating on our sites to protect water quality, to make sure we're protecting riparian zones. We are trying to manage so that our harvests don't exceed our growth. Really, we're at a point where we're growing a lot more than we're harvesting, so we're trying to develop markets to actually catch up and bring that more in line.
Foresters are working with scientists to come up with new products from Maine's working forests. They know the best way to protect this pristine resource is to keep it economically viable.
We make a lot of fiberboard, we make composite board, lumber, pulp and paper, but the world is changing and we're looking at wood as a source of chemicals to replace some petroleum-based chemicals. And we have nanocellulose being examined and put into use at the university. We have other extractives that we're taking a look at as an alternative fuel. So it's kind of an exciting time.
Capturing carbon in forests is one way to harness the power of the sun, but the sun can also be tapped directly for energy production. Kevin Powell, a grape grower in Chautauqua County, New York, is adding solar arrays on his farm to produce renewable energy and additional income for his family and his community.
Obviously, the lease that I have will generate passive income for me as a farmer and as a landowner. Benefits for the community, it's in an influx of tax dollars. They will negotiate a pilot or a payment in lieu of taxes with our county that will generate new tax revenue that we wouldn't be able to develop at that scale from agriculture.
Many Northeast states have incentives for solar installations, so developers are anxious to work with farmers. Kevin's land will house 2 small arrays feeding power to the local grid and a larger 40-acre site feeding high-capacity transmission lines. Strict local ordinances forced him to get a little creative in choosing suitable locations.
A lot of my farm is sitting on Shenango gravel, specific type of gravel that exists here in Chautauqua County. The town has decided that they don't want solar development on Shenango gravel. So we're doing 2 different things. I'm purchasing land that is low quality agriculture land, or it's completely overgrown in brush. Some of the other site, I'm actually swapping high production vineyard land to a grower that's in a growth mode in viticulture, and I'm acquiring his land that's less desirable to him and really is going out of production.
In June 2020, Farm Credit East wrote to the governor of New York expressing concern about the siting of large-scale solar projects on prime farmland. Kevin's innovative land swap avoids those issues. He's working to stay in harmony with nature and the neighbors.
We really hope to graze sheep within the solar array itself as an opportunity to commingle agriculture and development together. I've been able to speak with most of the property owners and neighbors for the project and have been pleasantly surprised of their response. The only way that they're going to know that it's there is that they know that it's there. We'll be able to seclude it from them and keep it a great distance from their house and to be able to hide it from view.
Northeast farm, forest product, and fishing businesses take seriously their responsibility to protect the environment. After all, their livelihoods depend on it.
It's smart business, it's smart environment. We're doing things that we didn't used to do, but it's all good. It's stuff that needs to be done.
Across the region, producers are working on their own or with others to employ climate-smart practices. Farm Credit East is proud to support their efforts to combat climate change and protect our natural resources.